something like that. But it was one day like I was patrolling at my normal spot at the west side of town,
Mm-hmm.
and I go this normal route. But one reason or another, I was like, I'm gonna go left instead of right today. When whatever, I have no idea reason why, but I was like, I went left. So I'm driving down this road that I normally don't go down,
Mm-hmm.
and there was this kid wearing I remember him wearing a red shirt. He was a teenager, and he's like just waving, and I'm like, oh crap! So I'm calling it in, telling dispatch, hey, this is what's going on. This is where I tried to tell him where I was at. I really couldn't even tell him because it's a county road.
Yeah.
So it's like a whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like my GPS on my computer is just not working. And so I'm like, I don't know how to tell him where I'm at. And I'm like, I'm gonna go see what this kid wants because he's waving like help. So I'm like, crap, something's not right about this though too. So I roll up to him, roll down my window, and little Hispanic boy, teenage boy, he was like, he only spoke Spanish, no English, no nothing.
Oh.
And he was white lipped, like so just dehydrated. The only thing he could tell me was agua, water. And I'm like, oh crap. So I had an empty cup. I had a gallon of water. I pour water in this cup I handed to this kid. He just like devours his water. And then he starts telling me in Spanish, and I kind of understand him because I speak a little bit of Spanish, but not enough to get by or even have a conversation.
Yeah.
But he's saying two little girls, like his little sisters. And I'm like, oh crap, where? Like where? And he's like, he just points south. And I'm like, crap. All right, well, I'm not going to leave this kid here. So I tell him jump in the bed of the truck and I start driving down. And as I'm driving down, maybe about 150 yards, I run into two adult males hiding underneath the tree for some shade.
These are like people trying to get into the U.S.
So these guys they're far into the U.S. already, but these guys are underneath this bush trying to get shade. And I'm like, this throws me off right now because I was like, I'm looking for two little girls, not two old men.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, señor, agua. And so I give them water. And I noticed that one of them has like a gang tat and like different, like they have tats. Like I can tell they're gang related.
Yeah.
And I'm like, crap. And I'm a codes officer. I'm not armed. And this is coming back from like years of being a security guard where I was armed. Yeah. So I'm like, crap. And I look like a deputy because that's kind of uniform the codes guys have. So this guy's not doing anything, but he's like, hey, two little girls. And he starts pointing south. I'm like, oh shit, there's two little girls out there still.
Yeah.
Throw them in the bed of the truck, drive down, and about another 200 yards, I want to say, there's a mom and two little girls kind of hobbling down this road. And one of the little girls, I remember this to this day, like it's burnt in my head. She has like a water bottle like that. It's empty, but she's death gripping it, just death gripping it. Won't let this thing go. And they are agua, señor, agua. So I gave them the rest of my water and they all drank water. I had a gallon, which normally I would kill during the day, especially this was summer. It was like 110. Yeah. And like ground temperature was like 130 in the middle of nowhere. And so it's hot. And these people are wearing like thin leather sandals and nothing, no backpacks, no nothing. The only one that had anything was the mom had a purse and she had inhalers for the kids in them. And that was it. That was all they had. And they had nothing else. They had no sun protection, nothing, no hats, nothing. That was it. And I was like, crap. And I'm still trying to talk to dispatch, I was trying to call my supervisors at the time. It was all kinds of cluster. And I was like, you know what? By the time they get to me, it's going to be like over a half an hour, if not 45 minutes, just to get to me.
Start driving
because
back,
that's how far I was. Or it could take 10 minutes, like not even 10 minutes, and get over to where the 10 is and meet Border Patrol there. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, hey, dispatch, I'm driving here, send Border Patrol here so I can turn them over. Because like I said, none of them spoke English.
Did they seem nervous that you were calling for someone else? Did they say like, don't call anyone?
No, they were like so happy that I had found him. Like these people were literally collapsed in the bed of my truck.
Wait, so where was it? Is that what they were doing? Were they trying to sneak over?
No, they already got over the border.
And they just had nowhere to go? When
I got to Border Patrol, I turned over to Border Patrol. They had told Border Patrol that they had been walking through the desert for 2 days without water.
Jesus.
110 degrees, no water. This little girl, like I said, the little girl was death gripping, and like they were all dehydrated. I actually got in trouble too because they're like, how come you didn't call an ambulance if they were this dehydrated? I was like, I couldn't communicate that.
Yeah.
And so that's why I need somebody who can communicate with them. So, because they spoke, like, it was weird. Like their Spanish was like broken Spanish, like enough to where I couldn't even understand them. Cause I guess they were from further south or something. I don't know. But, so the Border Patrol's talking with them, getting more information from them. And they said that they weren't going to go to Las Cruces. Like these people were going to keep going north. And where they were on the west side of town, if they would have kept going north past I-10, that's harsh desert out there. That's like, there's no water. There's no nothing. That's nothing but like rocks and mountains.
Did you ever figure out why? Like, what were they doing?
They were just told, walk that way.
They were walking for 2 days and just hoping that they run into someone.
Whatever coyote brought them over the border, they just told them, walk that way. And they told them, don't stop until they told them to keep going. Like they were like basically left out there to die.
That's wild, man.
I told my supervisors this. I told them stuff like that. And actually, a lot of them were like, "Yeah, you saved those people's lives." Like that's how I believe. I believe I saved those 6 people's lives. There were 6 of them. Yeah, and especially those 2 little girls were like, that's seared into my mind. Like, and the other thing too, I was freaked out because I was like, well, those guys were maybe gang tattooed. I'm like, so I'm freaking out. All this like scenarios in my head while I'm sitting there, and I'm like, because I'm not waiting for people to come to me just in case. So I was like, I'm gonna make my own decision. I couldn't get a hold of my supervisor, so I'm like, I'm gonna make my own decision. I'm gonna go.
Yeah. And
that's what I did. And then on top of that was I didn't want them sitting in my truck at 110 degrees. There was no shade because this was around 3 to 4. So I get off at 4. So this was like 3 o'clock. And it's the hottest part of the day, and these guys have been already just baking like in the sun. So I get them to where they need to. The Border Patrol gave them more water, took care of them. They took them from me. I get back to my office. I talk to my supervisors, and they're just like, "Oh, don't worry about. Well, we'll cross that." And I was like, honestly, I was like, dude, whatever punishment's coming my way, because I knew I broke county policy by having people in my truck.
What rule did you? Yeah.
Okay, so
what would you have broken?
What they had told me was I broke county policy because I had other people besides county employees in a county vehicle, and I also broke state law. Yeah, but
those guys are out of their minds. What do you expect? Like, if you're in a business vehicle and someone gets shot, you're like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna later on. Yeah.
Well,
they're in the middle of nowhere.
And the other thing too, I broke state law by having the 2 little girls in the bed of a moving vehicle. So that's what they originally told me that I got let go for. And what really came to,
you got let go because of this incident.
Yeah. Well, I got put on administrative leave. Like they're like, hey, sign this. You're on administrative leave. Blah 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 blah. Okay, cool.
And they would never know this story if you hadn't told them. So first of all, you save these people's lives, and then you're honest enough to tell your work about it. Dude, you should call a reporter like at the news station. This would be a huge story.
No, it's not even that. It's just they
that's wild.
With everything that went on, like because I'm not trying to look for any like fame for it. I'm just glad these people were alive.
Not fame though, but like you literally got and during a pandemic, you got falsely like fired, man.
I did break county policy. I did break, and I'll tell you right now, that is a fireable offense. And I did. I told him flat out, I'll take whatever punishment comes my way, and you know what, I got let go for it.
In today's world with the social justice stuff, like you would have so much support, man. I promise you.
I know, but
your palms are sweaty, but hit the subscribe button already. Mom's spaghetti is red like the button to which you are heading to click on. Confetti.